Hey everyone, welcome to the Radar Report. I'm your host Travis, bringing you the latest in automotive news. Trump is revoking EV targets. President Donald Trump has signed an executive order on January 20th, only a few hours after his inauguration, ending EV targets set by Joe Biden's administration, which stated that EVs had to make up 50% of new cars by 2030. The new executive order revokes unspent government funds that were allocated for electric vehicle charging stations. It also ends a waiver allowing states to ban internal combustion engines by 2035, specifically targeting California, which was the main state heading the ban of ICE vehicles. In order to make these changes stick, the Trump administration will need to work with the EPA to help write new rules for the automotive world. Surprisingly, this is not what automakers want. Following the election, a coalition of automakers sent a letter to President Trump requesting he require them to sell electric vehicles. According to them, the auto industry can only be successful with stability and predictability. Many have already invested billions of dollars into EV research and development. They are in too deep to pull out now, and we have already started down this slippery slope into new technology. The future is uncertain for the automotive world, but EVs are definitely the primary focus. Is this the right move for the future? You know, President Donald Trump has owned some very nice vehicles of his own, ranging from a Lamborghini Diablo, a Ferrari F430, an SLR McLaren, Audi R8, 911 Turbo S, and a Ford GT, just to name a few. He has some fine taste in vehicles. My opinion is that we need to pull back some and evaluate what these EV targets mean. 5 years to make 50% of all cars EVs is way too soon for us to receive a fully fleshed out product from manufacturers. With all the problems these EVs are popping up with, coupled with new software that can get very buggy at times, I think it would be wise for us to look at the broader picture. And this next segment is a prime example of other issues we can face. Canada stops giving out EV rebates as the program runs out of money. Canada's federal rebate program for electric vehicles ran out of funding and stopped abruptly. The program was intended to run until March 31st, making people wonder what's going on. Ford, Hyundai, GM, and Nissan had decided to continue offering those rebates to the buyers on their own dime for now. Many people fear that if this can happen in Canada, it can happen in the US as well. Possibly why President Trump is trying to pull back on the EV takeover. Is this a sign that EVs are moving too fast into the mainstream? I personally think we are not quite ready to propel EVs into the forefront of the automotive world. With technology advancing as fast as it is, we're talking about changing our entire infrastructure. Perhaps we should slow down and think about what this means for society as a whole. But enough about EVs. Cummins are making a new turbocharger for hydrogen engines. Although they are not nearly talked about as much as EVs, hydrogen vehicles are already here and a great alternative. Internal combustion hydrogen engines are already being used in Europe for commercial applications, while numerous automakers globally have patents for them. With hydrogen's lower density compared to gasoline, the engines can benefit greatly from forced induction. And Cummins already has one in development, called the CCS H2 ICE. It is designed to meet the unique requirements of hydrogen engines. Although no in-depth details have been given, it's said to incorporate a bespoke aerodynamic design. A byproduct of hydrogen engines is water, and turbos are driven by the engine's exhaust system, essentially where the water will be generated. Cummins says the turbo is designed to handle that water in terms of power production and longevity. This is something I can get behind. The best part about this is that hydrogen engines produce zero emissions, so they are a viable option for the future. Unfortunately, they fall under a similar problem that EVs face, which is infrastructure. Hydrogen is notoriously difficult to transport and store compared to fossil fuels. Specialized high-pressure tanks and pipelines are required. Refueling also requires special connections that go well beyond a basic gas pump. And while hydrogen is less explosive than gasoline in an air-fuel mixture, the volatility aspect still remains. The cost would also be astronomical to feasibly incorporate hydrogen into the automotive world. A Ferrari technician crashes an F40. Oh boy, this was a tough one to watch. On January 16th in the UK, a Ferrari technician was taking an F40 out for a road test after completing some maintenance work. It was overcast and the roads were wet as evident from the video. The car didn't look to be traveling at any significant rate of speed, but the conditions didn't stop the driver from briefly giving it the beans and subsequently losing control of the seven-figure supercar. The damage is pretty bad, but no one was injured thankfully. You know, it's a privilege to work on high-end cars, especially when it's one of such prestige. You have to treat these vehicles with the utmost respect. This reminds me of that Supra crash that happened 2 years ago. It's always sad to see these beautiful creations lost from a moment of bad judgment. The new Mustang is receiving the Shelby GT350 and GT350R variants, both with over 800 horsepower from a supercharged V8. The GT350 will take the 5-liter V8 Coyote motor, slap a supercharger on, and bump the power up to a whopping 810 horsepower. It will also feature a revised suspension, a new exhaust, and a meaner front fascia. A large wing will protrude from the trunk lid, giving it a distinct look that will surely produce a bit of downforce. They will also offer the GT350 without the supercharger, cutting the power down significantly to 480 horsepower. Both manual and automatic transmissions will be available. As for the GT350R, it will be a street-legal track-focused monster. It comes exclusively with a 6-speed manual gearbox and features a carbon fiber tub interior, an integrated roll cage, optional carbon fiber racing seats with a harness, a fully adjustable suspension system, Alcon racing brakes, and a more aggressive aerodynamic setup. Neither of these variants will be sold directly from Ford though. This is all Shelby, with some help from a Michigan-based company called Turnkey Motorsports. Production will be limited to 562 units for 2025, matching the total production numbers for the original Shelby GT350 in 1965. As for the GT350Rs, only 36 is planned, along with a limited number being built by other shops and distributors for markets outside the US. Pricing is only listed for the GT350 currently, which starts at $105,000. Shelby does state that each car will have a 3-year, 36,000-mile warranty and will retain Ford's powertrain warranty. Both models will be available later this year. I'm super excited to see the GT350 and GT350R return. What do you guys think? Leave your comments in the section below and let's talk about it. That's all today for the Revokes Report. Don't forget to check out last week's video and subscribe to stay updated on the latest Enthusiast news. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next week.